Star power. We talk about USC's roster all the time. Who are some of the guys on the defensive side of the ball, though, that bring that star power, name recognition, must-watch guy?
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thanks for making Locked On USC. It's part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, you can pick a platform, download this podcast, always free. I always appreciate your support. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers, you can get $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. 95 more days to go. Beat the Bears. Yeah, we're going to be doing the countdown. We are going to take you all the way up. Look, when I talk about star power, I'm not talking about recruiting rankings, right? I'm not talking about those types of stars. You already know how I feel about that to begin with. I'm talking about who are the stars on USC's defense. You know, so I can kind of put this in a context for you guys. Star power players from the past. Again, name recognition. Players who made the other team have to account for them. I'm talking about guys like, Ronnie Lott, Troy Polamalu. Pick anyone who wore number 55. How about Leonard Big Cat Williams? Most recently, I guess Tuli Tuiapolotu is probably the last guy. That's star power. Guys who you have to know where they are on the field at every time. Look, I could have spent the entire 30 minutes of the show just rattling off past players, past star power players. It wouldn't be boring, but it would get redundant. So again, who are your favorite guys? Hit me up in the comments section. Let me know. Last year, Lynn's defense made USC, we'll call it respectable. Okay. It was a good defense, but compared to in the past, it was respectable. It was more than respectable. You had USC coming off the Alex Grinch years. Those were tough. Those were really tough, those 2 years. And then you had that constant rotation of defensive coordinators prior to Lincoln Riley showing up. And that kind of just messed up any type of development with anybody that USC had on their roster. So last year, at least for me, I would say it was kind of the defense's coming out party, right? It got everyone's attention. Everyone kind of, say, oh, wow, USC, they're kind of good on that side of the ball. We're going to have to game plan for it a little bit. And I'm sure everybody anticipates year 2 in Coach Lynn's system, the defense is going to take another step forward. But when it comes to that star power, right now, I would say who? Eric Gentry? He's the one guy, I think, on the roster right now that is going to be playing every day. I mean, knock it on something. As long as he can stay in. If Eric Gentry can play all 12 regular season games, he's a problem. He's a problem for the other team. He's somebody you got to know where he's at on the field at all times. He's such a unique player. I mean, you line him up at linebacker. You can line him up as a stand-up edge rusher. His length in pass coverage makes those easy throws difficult. He makes the difficult throw next to impossible. So that's one guy. Who else? Is it too soon? It probably is. But, is it too soon to call Jakeem Stewart a guy? I mean, he has the star power Thanos name, that's for sure. So I'm going to include him in the conversation. Despite him not playing a college snap yet, he's coming in with a lot of fanfare. He's got that star power. Everybody's going to be watching him the second he steps on the field. How many plays will it take till he gets his first sack, makes his first tackle? Those types of things. All eyes on Thanos. This is what we know. He's the highest rated guy that USC's brought in on the defensive line in a while. I think Cameron Fountain's going to be. I think he's going to step into that star power category. He kind of started to flash at the end of last year, and during the spring camp, he was one of the guys that USC's coaching staff, the marketing department said, "Let's mic him up. He's got that. He's got that it. That's something that everybody's going to that kind of everybody gravitates to." So yeah, I can see Cameron Fountain being one of those star power type of names. I want to say Anthony Lucas, but I don't know. He might be too unassuming, and that's not a negative. But he's really low key, kind of quiet. If you've ever heard him talk during the interviews, you understand where I'm going with that. But I think Kamari Ramsey, safety. I think he has a chance to be that next great dude. USC's had a lot of great safeties in their past, especially the guys who wear number 7. I mean, think about some of the past star power safeties that USC's had. And I'm not going to name them all, but you start with the list starts and ends with Ronnie Lott. In between, you're going to mention Mark Carrier, number 7. Troy Polamalu. He wore number 43, but 4 and 3 adds up to 7. Tim McDonald. Taylor Mays. Taylor Mays made opposing players wish they had brown pants. And then a couple others. You had Dennis Smith, Sua Cravens. So 2025, number 7, Kamari Ramsey. He has a chance to be one of those guys, to etch his name as among one of the great safeties to play for USC. Here's what USC has. I don't know. We'll find out if they have a star power name at each level, but they've got one guy at each level of the defense that can step into that category. Defensive line for sure. Eric Gentry at linebacker. Kamari Ramsey at safety. You also got 3 guys on that coaching staff. You got Lynn. I like to describe him as I don't know, kind of that silent, smiling guy who's going to, again, quiet, unassuming, smiling. And then all of a sudden, he's just going to F you up. It's those quiet types you want to be really careful about because they're scheming. Coach Henney, yeah, he's the emotional pump you up coach. So you got Coach Lynn, 180 degrees from Coach Eric Henderson. One's quiet, unassuming, smiling in your face before he beats you up. Coach Henney, he'll wear his passion on his sleeve. You'll know exactly how he's feeling, without a doubt. And then Rob Ryan, right? He fits this category easily. He looks the part. Overweight, burnout surfer, likes to cuss, tell stories. And during that whole time, you're just getting better while you're looking at some fat, long-haired, burnt-out surfer who can tell stories and develop you like no one else can. So, yeah. One thing that USC, Hollywood, LA, that goes hand in hand with each other, star power. Got to have it. USC fans should always have plenty of stars to look forward to. You know what? In 95 days, USC kicks off against Missouri State. There'll be stars to watch. There'll be plenty of them. But yeah, let's start up front. Let's move to the middle. Linebacker. You got safety. Who's a cornerback? Who would you put in there? USC's roster has to have those types of players, those types of personalities. Players that other teams' fans want to watch and say, hey, keep an eye on that guy. Don't let him have a run at our quarterback. Make sure Eric Gentry isn't taking the right angle. Kamari Ramsey isn't sneaking in for one of those safety blitzes. Coming out of nowhere to pick the ball up and run it back for pick 6. Those are the types of guys that USC needs more of. star power players. I think they got a handful. Now we just need to see them perform in this season. And again, 95 days away. It's getting here. We're close. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. Yeah, we're almost at the finals. And every night is going to deliver highlight-worthy performances. You're going to get major momentum shifts. And there's always a can't-miss moment, right? So FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off, as well as when it's live. With player props, performance trends, smart game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. If you think you've got a read on the game, you know who's heating up, you're following the trends, well, why not back it up with a same game parlay? Do it. How would $200 in bonus bet sound, if that first $5 bet hits? All it takes. Place a $5 bet. If it wins, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. So if you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com. Place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you're going to have $200 in bonus bets in your account, just like that. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Okay, so there's did you know that there's another way that Makai Lemon and Jacobi Lane can actually help this team get better on offense? They can actually take the pressure off other guys. That's going to go a long way. We already know Makai, Jacobi, they're going to make plays. Those are going to be Jaden Mayaba's go-to guys. They should be. They're good. They're hard to stop. Throw a jump ball in Jacobi Lane's zip code. He'll find one hand. He'll bring it down. Put the ball in Makai Lemon's area, and he'll get you yards after catch. I love watching these two guys play. So it's that other intangible that doesn't really show up on the stat sheet, at least their stat sheet. It's going to help other players' stat sheets. It's how, they take the pressure off guys like Jay Fair. You've got DJ, Xavier Jordan, Prince Strong. Those three guys I just mentioned, they just got to go out there and have fun. They know the pressure's not on them. Pressure's on Jacobi and Makai to perform. They know that the opposing defenses are going to have to focus everything on Jacobi, on Makai. Those guys should be wide open. They should be able to make plays. And then when Lincoln Riley starts getting involved, you get into all that pre-snap motion, moving guys around, making the defense think, move their eyes. Oh, what's going on? What are they doing? We didn't see that on film. I mean, you start doing stuff like that. You got your pre-snap motion. And then, I don't know, maybe you have Eli Sanders lined up in the backfield. And then you swing him out wide all of a sudden. What happens when Makai goes into that pre-snap motion? And all of a sudden you see him being used on an end around. Yeah. What if you hand it off to Makai and it looks like it's a toss sweep, and all of a sudden, he pulls up, he throws it downfield. Once the ball is in his hands, let Makai make a play. Let him throw the ball. Lots of options out there. If you want to take the pressure off USC's running backs, all right, you got Waymon Jordan, you got Brian Jackson, you got Eli Sanders, you got the freshmen coming in. If you want to take the pressure off the running backs, how about letting Jaden Mayaba keep it every now and then? Right? He's got the size. He's got the strength. He should be able to pick up 2 or 3 yards just by falling forward. Lincoln Riley, he's got all the toys to play with right now. Big toy chest. Right? I remember when I was a kid, I had a toy chest. And I had to take everything out before I could figure out what I wanted to use. Yeah. And all of a sudden, mom or dad could clean up your room. I'm playing. No, clean up your room. Anyways, Lincoln Riley has a toy chest like that. Everything he needs. He just has to figure out how to use it, when to use them. So yeah, if you want to take, and if Coach Riley wants to take the pressure off his quarterback, start putting guys in a position, to be successful. Because when you have the defense having to make choices, because they see a whole bunch of, you see all these different options on the field, pieces moving around. Eventually, you're going to make a bad decision. We're talking about college age players, young men. They don't always make the right choice, on or off the field. But yeah, when the pressure's on, take the pressure off your team, put it on the other team. What about on the other side of the ball in defense? I've talked about this before. If you want to see USC's sack numbers go up, defensive ends, edges, getting into the backfield and actually finishing the play, Keyshawn Silver, Jaw Jarrett, they're going to take the pressure off of everyone else, especially everybody else who plays inside. Because now you've got that depth. It's just not Kobe Pepe and Jade Abasiri. Now you've got some depth. Takes the pressure off of guys like Thanos. But again, when you've got guys pressuring the interior, it's taking so you got guys pressuring the interior, the positive type of pressure, but it extends. You're taking pressure off you guys on the ends. I'm looking forward to how USC uses certain players kind of as a decoy to get other players in better situations. I talked about it like when I was watching Vance Spafford at the Milliken Tournament of Champions Passing League a couple weeks ago. All they had to do was put him in motion every single time somebody else was wide open. And I already told you, they could have thrown it to him every single time and he would have caught the ball. So there are ways. You can take pressure off the rest of the team when you're a star player. And when those guys don't feel it, they tend to, relax, play up to their abilities. So yeah, if we're talking, just about the wide receiver room, as long as Jacobi Lane and Makai Lemon do their job and play up to their abilities, all of a sudden that takes the pressure off those other guys. Jay Fair can just run around. Prince Strawn, DJ Jordan, the freshmen that are coming up. You've got Zacharias Williams from Utah. I cannot forget him, the transfer. He's going to be a true sophomore. And Kyle Whittingham, Utah's coach, was like, you just took our number one wide receiver this year. So there's another player who can help take the pressure off. And he might take some of the pressure off of Makai and Jacobi because he's kind of, he understands what it's all about. Same thing with Prince Strawn. This isn't their first rodeo. All right, we got one more segment to go. Guess what? They're back. The boys of summer are back. The USC Trojans baseball team, they're headed back to the NCAA baseball tournament for the first time in 10 years, since 2015. And just the second time since 2005. It's really hard to believe that a program that has won 12 national championships has been dealing with such a long drought. I mean, you talk about a slump. Yeah, Mark Grace. He talked about slump busters. If you know, you know. USC has been dealing with a major slump. Well, they busted it. This past season, they should have been in the tourney last year. They kind of got snubbed this year. They went 35-21 overall, 18-12 in the Big Ten Conference. Pardon, excuse me. They beat Washington in the Big Ten pool play tournament portion of the tournament, and that was enough to get them into the 64-team field. They were considered one of the last four in, so they were cutting it close. With that said, USC is heading to Corvallis, Oregon. Yeah, they know. Yeah, they're going back to the old Pac-12, sort of. Anyways, Oregon State, they're the 8th seed in the 64-team tournament. They're hosting the regional. USC is the number 3 seed in that regional. So USC is taking on number 2 TCU. That first game will be Friday, May 30th, 12 p.m. You can watch it on ESPNU. And then the other team is St. Mary's. So Oregon State takes on St. Mary's. TCU takes on USC. Now, if USC can get out of the regional, it's off to the, and again, that's a double elimination. You get to the super regional. So if USC loses 2 games, they're out. If they eliminate TCU and they can get past Oregon State, assuming it's going to be Oregon State, you're off to the super regional. Those games take place between June 6th and June 9th. And now, the winner of the Corvallis Regional, I gave you those 4 teams, USC, Oregon State, St. Mary's, TCU. They're going to take on the winner of the Tallahassee Regional, which is Florida State, Mississippi State, Northeastern, and Bethune-Cookman. There was a time when USC baseball was the gold standard. They've fallen off. And we're not talking about, when I say USC has 12 national championships, these things didn't come back at the turn of the century when Michigan and Notre Dame were, stacking them this high in football. Everyone remembers how dominant John Wooden's basketball teams were at UCLA during the 60s and 70s. Well, USC had a baseball manager, head coach. His name was Rod Dado. He was the John Wooden of baseball. I mean, Rod Dado's squads back then were literally, this is not hyperbole, it's not exaggeration. They were Major League Baseball's best farm team. I'm gonna list just a handful of names. USC baseball, its tradition, its lineage, long, it's illustrious. But here's just some names. Dave Kingman. By the way, if you ever want to hear the greatest rant ever, go on to YouTube and do Tommy Lasorda, Dave Kingman rant. Trust me. It's not safe for work either. Moving on, though. So Dave Kingman, he played at USC. Randy Johnson, Tom Seaver, Mark Pryor, Mark McGuire, Fred Lynn, Barry Zito. Again, just a handful of names. Don Buford Jr. So Coach Dado, he coached at USC from 1942 through 1986. 11 national championships during that time span, including, I'm not joking, 5 straight from 1970 through 1974. No other school in the history of college baseball has ever done more than 2 in a row. I don't think anybody's going to match 5 straight, ever. The last time USC won the College World Series, 1998, Mike Gillespie. So, if USC can get past the regionals, which again, double elimination, then you get to the super regional, and that's a best of 3. And then if you get out of the super regional, guess what? You're going to Omaha. Yeah. And that's double elimination in the bracket part of play when you get to Omaha. And then when you get to the championship series, it's a best of 3. I don't know if USC can do it this year. You never know. Field of Dreams. Sometimes you get on a roll and you just can't stop it. But if they do, these are the guys. These are a couple of names just to remember. Ethan Hedges. He was first team All Big Ten. He was also All Defensive Big Ten team. He plays third base. He hit 343. He had a team high 74 hits, 12 home runs, 55 runs batted in. And he's also a pretty good relief pitcher. 2-1, 9 saves, 2.4 ERA. That'll get it done. And if you're looking for another pitcher that can deal from the bump, keep your eye on Caden Aoki. Yeah, good pitcher. So we'll see what happens. It's just good to say that USC Baseball's back in the tournament. It's been a while. USC Baseball should always, every single year, be part of the College World Series. Always. A lot of things have changed since, Rod Dato, and you've got Title IX where scholarships had to be equalized, same amount of scholarships for women and men. Baseball is one of those sports that got hit the hardest. There are literally guys on the team. You'll have one scholarship being divided among 4 players. That's how you have to kind of manipulate and make things work. One day, USC will have total endowment, and they'll be able to pay for everybody. They got to get to that level, and that will help USC baseball continue to grow. Get back to its natural, where it should be. Who knows how good this team could have been had Austin Overton hung around one more year. Don't blame him for getting into the draft. I mean, dude was really good. As a freshman, he led the country in triples. I think he set the record. So USC, they're building it back up. It's good to see. Andy Stankiewicz, coach, good job. You got USC back where they belong. Now let's take that next step. All right, I'll be back with another episode tomorrow. By the way, I'm going to have a special guest on Thursday's episode. Excuse me. Yeah, Thursday's episode. Thursday or Friday. Got one of USC's incoming recruits, 2026. He'll be joining me. You're going to like this young man. So that's something to look forward to this week. I'll be back again tomorrow. We'll talk more about USC football. Anything else that comes up, some recruiting news, we'll see. But until then, everyone, you know what to do.